From Tridio Media, I'm Father Roderick, and this is the Daily Breakfast. I'm standing here in front of one of the entrance gates to Trastevere, a very old neighborhood in Rome. And it still functions as a gate you can walk through. There's a little bit of light traffic, but the rest of the neighborhood is going to be pedestrian only. And I want to share with you some more tips on life in Rome and what to do, what not to do. First of all, the thing you need to do when you're in Rome is to enjoy the gorgeous weather. The sun is so bright that my video camera can barely manage it. That's one of the advantages of audio. You're not squinting your eyes. So if you are in Rome, I'd say, first of all, enjoy being there. And that is more than just a very general, like, open door. But I see a lot of tourists who are always kind of forcing themselves to visit every single tourist hotspot that they heard about that is in their guide. And so they jump from taxi to taxi, or they take one of those tourist buses, and as long as they can get a picture or a selfie in front of the Colosseum or this or that basilica, that's when they feel that their journey is their visit to Rome has been a success. But what you lose when you do that is the kind of the vibe of Rome, which you can experience much more if you go off the beaten path, like these people that are just taking time to have a meal and just stop and look at these nice little churches here. Isn't that gorgeous? And over there, yesterday, they were filming some kind of a movie or a TV series, and they're still cleaning up all the lamps. This was a big movie set when I was here yesterday. You've got all these tiny little restaurants, a hosteria, and of course they're showing the entrance, how nice it is. And of course we have to look around, look at there, that is just gorgeous, and it's all in Christmas atmosphere. Thank you so much, grazie. But these places, you can't do this when you're constantly in a rush to kind of mark off all the well-known tourist places. So my advice would always be, yes, definitely make sure you visit the things that you want to see, do some research, but also always include margin in your itinerary. Time to just walk in these small neighborhoods and just enjoy the general atmosphere. This is a gorgeous place to be in at nighttime when all the lights are on and everybody's eating here at these restaurants. Look at this. Here on my left is the prosciutteria, which means ham and bacon. And on the left is a painting. Whoa, almost got run over by two old guys on motorcycles. So this restaurant is specialized in everything concerning the pig, and there are some curated ham and everything in the window. This is just one of those places. You need time. So first tip is take time, include margin. Take a bite of a nice piece of authentic pizza. They'll warm up for you, like all these hundreds and hundreds of groups that have taken their selfie here while they were eating their pizza. Ciao. Or just try out some restaurants and then forget about all the reviews that you can read online, but just discover for yourself, and you'll see how much fun that is. And when you go home, you will have that memory of a vacation where you weren't rushed, but you could really, live like the Romans do. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. They don't rush from tourist location to tourist location. They just enjoy life, enjoy the city. And so, speaking of visiting and how you get from one place to another, I've also always been, or I'm often asked, how should we get around? Should we get a cab or find tourist transportation? I think most of what is worth your time in Rome, you can go there by foot. It's a relatively small town. This is not Paris, so you can walk from one place. Of course, you need to be able to walk, but it's the best way to discover Rome. Now, if sometimes you need to go out of town and it's very far away, I would recommend you get one of these, or a few of these. These are tickets. They're called Metrebus, and these Metrebus tickets are €1.50, as you can tell, and they're valid in the metro, the underground, and in all the buses, and even on some trains. It's very cheap. It stays valid once you put it. You get the stamp. It stays valid for about 75 minutes, and so you can actually go very far. If you take the underground, you can only take it for one trip, but then, of course, you'll cover a big distance. Just take a look at the atmosphere here. Isn't that amazing? Ciao. È ottimo. Nice music while you're having lunch here on one of the many terraces. And even in the winter, it's oftentimes so warm they can just sit outside. And this is a particularly beautiful place because it's close to the bell tower of Santa Maria in Trastevere, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous church here in the heart of this neighborhood. The facade is currently being renovated, so it's covered, but the inside is beautiful. And again, a wonderful place to be here in the evening, or basically at any time of the in terms of transportation, another thing that you could do is to get not just the individual tickets for one trip or for 75 minutes, but you can also ask for a 5-day ticket, which will look exactly the same, but you can use it for 5 days. And I think there's even like a 7-day variant. It's very cheap. It's like 15 or 20 bucks, and you can use it all the time. You only have to stamp it once, and then it stays valid for the entire duration of your stay. And that's always nice to have, even if you don't use it all the time because you're walking. It's still really cool to have that ability to not think about it anymore when you want to travel from one place to another. Let's see, is there something else I can show you here? This is the main square where I currently am. Unfortunately, the facade of the church is covered, and well, there's not much to see here. Again, it's much better in the summertime when it's full of people, and it's just this nice, cool atmosphere. Anyway, some other tips. You know that I always like to travel on a budget, a low budget preferably. And so what is important is to know places where you can have a good meal for not much. And this is definitely one of those neighborhoods where you can get a really good deal on delicious food. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite places where I always eat. And by the way, if you want souvenirs, of course, like everywhere in Rome, you don't have to look for that for a long time. You can even get your favorite Pope Francis calendar or a Rome calendar. They have everything. Sometimes they've even got a pasta pizza calendar here if you want to. I mean, why would you buy that? A pasta pizza calendar. You want to eat pasta and pizza instead of looking at it when you're sitting in certain places in your house. In general, I think I've already said this before, it's very hard to find bad food in Rome. Perhaps some of the fast food joints, or where they serve like doner kebab or something like that, may not always be very good. Always, kind of look at the place. Are there other people eating there? If the place is empty, never a good sign. Also keep in mind that people here in Italy eat very late. We are against war and tourist menu, it says here. I'm not against tourist menu. quite on the contrary. So, but people eat late, so it's very common here to arrive at a restaurant at 8:30 in the evening. You'll still get served, and you can stay there for hours if you want to. A lot of these restaurants, the kitchen will close at around 10, but you'll be able to stay there and hang out there for much longer if you want to. And it's not very uncommon to see families with young children also sitting there for a long time late in the evening. Why not, you know? And I think I've already mentioned this. A good time to be here is at Christmas time, or right before Christmas, I would say, because it's a beautiful city. They really take good care of putting in place all these Christmas decorations with a gazillion lights, and it is a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere, even if it's not Christmas yet, and it will stay Christmas even in January. So this is a restaurant that I often go to, where you can have really good food, and it's also very, very affordable. This is the menu. So it's called Ristorante Carlo Menta. Oftentimes people ask me, well, give us the address. And what you may want to check out is the tourist menu. It's three. Well, actually, it starts with antipasta, which is a garlic bread with tomatoes and rocket salad. It's just a little something. Then you can choose a lasagna, spaghetti, penne zuppa. I would recommend my favorite, penne Carlo Menta. It's like from the house, and it's with meat, cream, and peas. It's absolutely delicious. Then they have a secondo piatto, saltimbocca. That's a very typical Roman dish. Pollo arrosto, that's nothing special. It's just a piece of chicken and one leaf of salad. Cotoletta alla milanese, Milanese style cutlet and French fries. That's also not recommended. Wurstel, it's just now. Take this, saltimbocca. That's the Roman thing to do. Then dessert, creme caramel, excellent. A dolce, if you like cake, or a fruit salad. Fruit salad is also nothing special. But and the price, €10. Right now it's €10, and then in the evening it's only €13. And they have pizzas. If you are on an even tighter budget, look at this pizza, and it's a real pizza, €2. It's unbelievable, and it's really good stuff. So you see. And service, of course. Yeah, you have to add the service. A little bit of service. It's a tiny amount. It is delicious, absolutely. And not only do you get good food, but it's also in this really nice location. Now, by the way, this is not a paid advertisement. You may think so, but I'm truly, honestly excited about this restaurant. Look at this old car that they have. This is actually, I think, owned by the restaurant. And so they do this to kind of spice up the the atmosphere here. But this is just a great place to eat. And actually, speaking of which, that is what I'm about to do. It is lunchtime. It's actually a little bit later than lunchtime, but I spent most of the morning filming and interviewing people. So I'm truly hungry now. And after a good walk down this neighborhood, I think I have some extra space for a nice meal. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you so much for joining me. There are some more episodes coming, so stay tuned. If you like what you see, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And if you prefer audio podcasts, or you want to be able to choose and sometimes just listen to these stories via audio, then go to tridio.com/subscribe. That's where you will find the feed to the audio version. And then, if you want even more shows, if you want an exclusive podcast that I record for my patrons, for my supporters, join the patrons over at patreon.com/Father Roderick. Not only will you enable me to do these shows and to travel and to buy equipment from time to time, but you also get access to this exclusive podcast called Ask Father Roderick. And you know, the content is determined by the patrons. They can ask me anything. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Glad to have you among my followers and in my audience. And I will talk to you soon. Take care and God bless. And if you still need to eat, buon appetito.